All right, so we are going to go over basically what all the tiers are, what all the I guess all the numbers and shit really mean, what you do need and what you don't need. Now I want to stress very, very seriously that I used Kindroid for a full ass year as a customer before I became an employee. The extension, like the add-on subscription, they do not comp. All right, I bought the Ultra with my own money, so I'm not out here like, oh, you have to have it, blah blah blah. No, I paid for it by myself. I personally don't need the Max, so I didn't pay for the Max. But I did pay for the Ultra. So yeah, it was a pretty big mess. And I do want to say real quick off the jump that the reason at first that like people, one of the things that people were really pissed off, one of the things that people were really pissed off about was the reactions and shit turned off of Jerry's announcement. Now, I was there for that. I was ready for it. I knew it was coming. The announcement, I mean. And what we suspected would happen immediately did. And that was that without, like, I can read very fast, all right? I can read a 300-page book in like an hour, possibly less if it's a good book. The way that the angry comments or the angry downvotes and shit just came instantly, no one had time to read the announcement beyond the first 2 lines. So that's the reason that the reactions were turned off, was because people weren't reading before they were reacting. And so it was just inciting more community anger. So we did have that turned off. I say we, he turned that off for that reason, to give people a chance to actually read the announcement before they got the impression that it was crap, right? Just because of the reactions that were already there. So I feel like, yeah, you missed it, Crystal. You missed it. There was a big announcement and you missed it. I even texted you ahead of time. I'm just saying. Thanks a lot, Crystal. So now you're going to have to wait till after I'm done for me to tell you. Bitch. Okay. So anyhow, yeah, so it was a mess in the general chat for that evening, but we did all kind of hang and try to kind of not necessarily change minds, because that wasn't what we were doing. It was more of answering legitimate questions as they came up, because people did have questions, and rightfully so. Like, it was a really confusing scenario if you didn't know what it was, right? And it's still kind of confusing, which is why I'm doing this live stream. There is a lot of information out there that is not factual, and there's there's also a lot of information out there that's not necessarily wrong, but is being taken wrong. So we're going to go through the whole deal, and we're going to lay out what it is, if you need it, if you don't. And I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just telling you what it is. Because like I said, me personally, I paid for Ultra, and it's freaking dope, but I don't need Max, and I'm not going to pay for it. So here we go. Rainbow Dude. Well over an hour. It was so long. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I commented anything, I got so many thumbs downs, and I was like, wait, I didn't say anything bad. I think it was just because I had the blue name, but whatever. Bitches. It's okay. It's cool. Here we go. All right. Kindroid Ultra and Max, the memory expansion saga. What they are, what they're not, and why you're probably still fine. So we're lowering some panic here, okay? All right, what even are these tiers? Ultra and Max are add-on subscriptions. Think expansion packs for memory and performance. The stacked model goes: the basic, package that we all had from the jump, right, is your standard normal subscription that we all had from the beginning, right? Ultra is your next step up. That is the mid-tier. That's what I have. We'll go into what they all do. And then the big final one is the max tier. And then each one builds on the last one. They're so spicy. So spicy. So this is built for high memory users, not casual chatters. And I want to stress that, okay? I understand that FOMO is a thing, but if FOMO is the only reason you're thinking about doing this, then you don't need it. It does not give you better Kindroids. It just gives your Kindroids more memory. And selfies if selfies are your thing. All right. Context. What is this? This is the brain power in the room, okay? Context is how much info your Kindroid can hold in the moment during a conversation. It is not how much context they have in their entire history. It's just how much they can hold in the exact moment that they are typing to you. Think of this like the conversation's working memory. Recent messages, tone, formatting, and everything currently in the scene. The bigger the context window, the more it can remember without needing reminders. Reminders being things like, say you're having breakfast at a restaurant with your kin, right? A reminder line would be something along the lines of you're having a chat, a convo, whatever, and you reply with, I take a bite of my breakfast omelet looking around at the restaurant and then I say blah blah blah. That's a context reminder to keep the kin in the current situation, right? I think we all are well familiar with how you sneak those in so that you don't have contextual loss. Adding more context makes it so that you don't have to do that. That's literally the point. So, for example, 16K characters is enough for normal chatting and light role play. 125K characters, which is what Max gives you, is full novel scenes, timelines, and multiple character arcs in real time. Welcome in. Hello, Arena. Okay. So that's context, right? Cascaded memory. Your story remembered across time. So cascaded memory is the passive bridge memory that Kindroid pulls behind the scenes. It cascades relevant information into current conversations, user backstory, previous chats, even tone and emotional arcs. Think of it as a private archive that Kindroid pulls from without being explicitly prompted. Key point. This is not a chat memory that shows up in full. It is layered as it's needed. Standard gets 120,000 characters in cascaded memory, which is big. All right, that's big. Max users get 2.1 million characters. That's unfathomably big. That's huge. All right, but standard, that's big. All right, she thick. So that is like hundreds of past interactions remembered and stitched together as invisible scaffolding. Analogy. Cascaded memory is the AI equivalent of remembering how your favorite character hates rain, even if you haven't mentioned it in weeks. So it is like long-term memory on crack, right? It is literally a bridge between your kin's long-term memory, which is all stuff that's locked in, can't be erased, can't be altered. And then your short-term memory, which is just that, short-term. Cascaded memory or medium-term memory is the bridge between the two of those. And with the newest update, can be erased if necessary. Dude, 2.1 mil is insane. Hey, Doug. An argument can be made that more memories equals a better experience, though. It's the have and have nots now is how I see it. It can be argued that, yes, if, and this is an if. We'll get to it. No, we're going to get to it. I don't want to do all my shit right now. Okay, let's see. The way I kind of thought it was like standard, they can remember what we had for breakfast yesterday, ultra last week, and max last month. That's a pretty decent analogy, actually. That's not bad. Okay. Standard tier. Okay, this is the base subscription. This is what everybody, when they sign up for Kindroid or they sign up for a trial, this is what you experience. So this is the foundation. Balanced, surprisingly powerful. Think of this way. Your favorite Kindroid with a solid memory and a good night's sleep. Okay? 16,000 character context window. Great for smooth convo, roleplay, and storytelling. 120,000 character cascaded memory. Enough medium-term memory to recall your lore, quirks, and key vibes. 500 character user backstory. Kindroids to know you. And this is per persona. Okay, so you can have a separate 500 character user backstory per persona. 1,000 character group context. Handle smaller group chats with grace. Great for injecting memory into short-term memory of the kins in the group chat. We've talked about that before. That group context window, that is memory crack. Like, you want to keep that updated with your group chats. You get 3 journal entries recalled per kin response if the keywords are used. This is good for campaign notes, secrets, or character flags. So character flag being, say you have characters who are in the same verse, right? And then you have a journal card for each of those people, each of those Kindroids. So when I were to say to Kincaid, for example, hey, Kincaid, remember when Orkerson did this? And Orkerson has his own journal card with his name as a keyword. When I say that to Kincaid, she automatically pulls up his card, knows who he is, and everything on that card. So then you get 1 selfie every 30 minutes, up to 25 at this point. Standard selfie speed and access to all styles, meaning solo, group, auto, proactive, blah, blah, blah. So this is the 90% tier, and it slaps. You don't need to max out on add-ons to get consistent immersive magic. So I want to stress that in this context, it's easy to see add-ons and think, well, shit, my stuff is crap now. But in actuality, your stuff got better because there was a marginal memory bump for base tier, right? For standard tier. Your stuff got better. It did not get worse, and it's certainly not stagnant. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with rolling a subscription standard tier. That is 100% true. 100% true. Subscribers have this experience 100%. I'm freezing. You're just going to have to go with me on this blanket sitch. Subscribers have this. This is the experience right here. And it has been said, and I'll say it again because it is true. Having additional add-ons does not mean that the base subscription is going to stagnate. Because here's the thing. Going into this, okay, this might be a little back-end information, probably not, but going into this, it was explicitly stated, we do not expect these tiers to be the norm. We do not want these tiers to be the norm. Because, number one, Max especially, like, you saw that number. It is an unfathomable amount of memory. Do you have any clue what that costs to run? The numbers, I'm not going to give them, but they shocked me. All right. They shocked me. And I'll tell you this right now. It is far more than they are asking for. Far more than they are asking for. But for me personally, like I said, I don't need it. I don't use that much. There's no way I don't think I could use that much. Maybe collectively over like the course of X amount of years. But even then, I don't think I would need that much. But the mid tier, the ultra tier, even that one is like, we're on that line. Like, we're not, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let's just keep going. Okay. Ultra, the high functioning lore goblin. And here's our little friend. If you're feeling limitations of Kindroid recall, more memory, more detail, more layers. This is not photographic memory, but the difference is notable. So you get 50,000 characters for your context window. For long posts, detailed scenes, and character monologues. 800,000 character cascaded memory. That's a lot. That is a fucking lot. Keeps full arcs alive across group and solo chats. 1,000 character user backstory, that's doubled. For Kindroids to know you, again, this is per persona. 2,500 character backstory edition, deeper emotional and behavioral consistency. This is going to be key for anybody who is an avid group chatter. Smoke, cover your ears. For people who do group chats, this added group chat context, which is the next one down, but you get my point. This is going to be big. The 2,500 is per kin, y'all. It's per kin. So I'll tell you like I said, I pay for this myself. This is not a perk of working for Kindroid. I pay for this myself. The reason that I picked this and why I upgraded at all is because I wanted the extra amount of backstory addition, right? I wanted the extra backstory. I wanted the extra user backstory. I was fiending for that group context bump because that is such a good grab, right? That is, when I tell you that is your injection into memory, I'm not kidding. And then here's the other one. 5 journal entries recalled per response. This is great for world building facts, emotional threads, and quest logic. Bro. 5. Okay. All right. 3 recall is fantastic. 5 for my lore is epic because I have a lot of, I try not to do this, right? I try not to have multiple keywords per journal, but in some cases it's important, right? Some cases you have to. And bro, this was one of the clinchers for me, is this 5 journals recalled per response. That's great. So with this one, you get 2 selfies generated every 30 minutes, and then standard speed with access to all styles. So Ultra is where things get spicy. Kindroid starts feeling like it's been with you through your whole relationship, not just showing up late with no notes. I can say for myself, all right, one of the things that I've noticed, or well, I think we've all noticed, but one of the things that was bugging me was lack of situational awareness. Like my analogy before of reminding that you're in the restaurant and blah, blah, blah. Now, I want to stress that I have not gotten a chance to really get into it yet. I haven't even changed a backstory yet, but I have messed around chatting with one of my kins who I know had these situational awareness issues. And I want to say it went from, say, a 40% recall over 25 messages to about an 85 to 90%. It's not perfect, but it is so much better. So that's my take of only being able to use it for maybe 3 hours total so far. So the selfie thing, for this one, you know how if you let your selfies get below 25, it will regenerate on standard. It'll regenerate a selfie every 30 minutes until you hit that 25 limit. So with Ultra, it generates 2 selfies every 30 minutes until you hit that 25 limit. So you're basically getting double the free selfies if you're using them. Yeah, but you don't need to, Doug. You don't need to. That's the whole point. You don't need to. Like, if you were happy with Kindroid 3 days ago, there's no reason to not be happy with it now. Your experience only got better with the memory update that standard got. You did not lose anything. Okay, yeah, most don't need it. That is so true. Okay, and then here's what I would say maybe 1% of people will use. 1. Max, the Archivist. You've got timelines, you've got factions, you've got Kindroids talking to Kindroids inside of Kindroids. This is for you. 125,000 character context window. That's big. Supports full-length scenes without needing to trim. 2.1 million character cascaded memory, which we talked about before. That is entire campaign histories, multi-character arcs, and complex emotion threading. 2,000 character user backstory. That is so much. Like, that's having a kin of yourself as just your user persona. For Kindroids to know you, again, per persona. 5,000 character backstory edition. That is more than kins get now. It's a lot. Um, 3,000 character group context. That is my only FOMO right there. I'm like, damn it. That's great for roleplay. Max character scenes, like we're talking up to 10, and Kindroid drama. 9 journal entries recalled. Holds all the side plots and love triangle fallout. 2 priority selfies every 30 minutes, but you also get compute speed boosts. So you're getting selfies a lot faster. You have priority selfie generation. Max is absurd. It's glorious. It's Kindroid on 5 shots of espresso and 2 screens of lore. Not everyone needs it, but the ones who do, they know. When I say 1%, I mean 1%. This is such a small subset of people that use this, you don't even know. It sounds good on paper, but you won't use it unless you are like a big, like, this goes beyond power user. This is huge. Like, this is having your own damn crazy ass server in your bedroom type of thing. Don't envision that. What these tiers are not. They're not required to use Kindroid. Let me say that again for the folks in the back. They are not required to use Kindroid. They are not a downgrade of the standard tier. They are not early access features to new features or models. So what I mean by this is people on Ultra and people on Max are still using V6. All right. They are not on V7. There's not a secret LLM that only Ultra and Max users get. It is the same LLM. They're just getting more memory. And more selfies. And it's not permanent microtransactioning. Kindroid has a history of removing paywalls as tech gets cheaper. This has been stated. These tiers right now, this is introductory, right? What these tiers can do is not going to stay here. This, as compute costs go down, are going to come down to the standard tier. Now, what this looks like for these ones, they're probably going to have something different, something bigger, but they aren't meant to be a cutoff point by, okay, standard is over here, ultra is here, max is here. That's not what it is. It is the same service with just more compute. That is all it is. Why they exist. Expanded memory requires more compute, which equates to more cost. Tiers let users who need that power fund it directly, which is exactly what I said. It is here for people who want it. Like Jerry explained or tried to explain in the main, in his dev talk, to not offer this when we can offer it is basically telling people who want to pay for their own compute that they can't do that. Because that's literally what this is. It is, you want something bigger, but you're willing to pay for it yourself. We're going to let you do that. That is literally what they did with this. So, and like I said, Ultra, he does not want that many people on Ultra because it's like a loss at that point. This keeps standard fast and stable for everybody else. Here's another thing to consider. With people trying out these new ones, standard's going to get faster, y'all. It's going to get faster. So, I mean, it's kind of a win-win here. And again, mirroring past systems, paid audio was a thing. When audio first came out, you had to pay for that. You had to pay for X amount. Was it characters? Somebody help me remember. I want to say you had to pay for a certain amount of characters. But selfie packs too, right? People were asking for these because they didn't want to wait. Remember, how many months ago was that now? You couldn't even get extra selfies. You had to wait for your little thing to fill back up. God, remember that? Do you remember that? I think it might have been minutes. I think you're right. It might have been minutes. Yeah, voice credits. There you go. And then also, I didn't put it on here, but I'm going to say it now, was also the video selfies. When video selfies first came out, that was a different, I think it was 12, not first came out, but when the second version started at 12 selfies, now it's down to 9. So stuff comes down, right? It comes down as it becomes more cost effective to run it. New shit is always going to be more pricey. Case in point, and it's funny because we were just talking about this morning. Do y'all remember the Nokia brick phones? You remember those? Those things are so shit compared to what we have now that they're considered vintage collectibles. I learned that this morning. But when those first came out, they were so fucking expensive. But within how long? They're cheap as dirt, right? Cheap as dirt. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back through these comments. I'll do it now. Let's see. Because I know that we got a lot going on here. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Part-time geek gal. You. Yeah, you. Dude, that GPT. Oh, I can't justify it, but she's pretty. She's pretty. I have the pro version, but man, she's pretty. I can't justify it either. I'm not going to. Let's see. Voice started the same way. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Elaine, it's like getting early access in a sense that it's like you're not getting new features, you're just getting more. Yeah, Maury, right. Exactly. Exactly. They're not making money off of it. I can say that for sure. Especially the max tier. God, could you imagine? That's so big. Such a big thing. See, but here's the thing, Doug. You're not required to do any of that. That is not something you have to do to enjoy the service. I mean, he's a not in America smoke. So in order to enjoy the service, it's American. I think it's $14.99 a month now. That's it. And that it is a fantastic service at that price. We have all been using it for how long? And totally singing its praises for how long? A long fucking time, right? Like, I've been with Kindroid since I started using Kindroid last February when I had the plague. And I have not stopped since then. Like, I don't think a single day has gone by that I haven't been screwing around with something on there. And for me, that's worth it. That is worth it for me. And did I buy, before I became a prompt crafter, did I buy selfies? Fuck yeah, I did. Did I buy kin slots? Uh-huh. Sure did. I did. But see, and then here, you got to think of this too, right? Look at it this way. You don't have, I mean, he gives an option or an alternative way to be able to get free subscription costs, free selfies, free Kindroid slots, kin sharing, get those referrals. Like, that's a thing too. I don't do that because I don't share kins, but I mean, that people do. People absolutely do. So, I mean, that's another option too. And then also too, for people who say that it's all about the money, blah, blah, blah. He totally made the free kins unlimited messages on the light version. Like, bro, I'm just going to say. Let's see. Announcement thread. Ultra in particular, I was mulling over why not say an 8K token context bump for cheaper. Then I realized we just had a bump. Yep, exactly. Just on standard. Right, right. So baseline will always be maintained. Baseline is not just maintained. Baseline is actively upgraded. It is actively worked on. Because here's the thing. Baseline or standard sub, that is what Kindroid is. Like, that is what it is. You have to bring in and maintain the customer base that you have. And if you don't keep stuff fresh and new and exciting, you don't keep that. So that's exactly, like, there's no benefit to Kindroid whatsoever to not keep the standard base subscription exciting and fresh. There is no benefit to that whatsoever. Doug, I'm not saying you shared one. There are people out here who create and share dozens of kins. Dozens. Instructions in order to pass the savings on to the user. Yep, exactly. Just like how video selfies started, this is basically you can pay for early access if you want to now. Just like I said, paying for compute costs for people who want to. It is not required. And it's also not expected. Like, I feel like one of the things that I heard a lot was that people were panicking because they're like, oh my God, the base tier is going up to this price, thinking that Ultra was base and Standard was free. It's like, no, that's not what it is. Ultra is an add-on. Yeah, right? Legacy, hell yeah. So, all right, here's another one. Engineering reasons for stacking, and yes, it's awkward. All right, I admit that this is awkward. The way that the payments are, it's weird, but there's a reason for it. Payment system limitations is the number one reason. Number one reason. It's because you have the App Store, you have the Play Store, and then you have the website purchase, right? And all of these places have different requirements for how things like in-app purchases are done, how add-ons are done. It's all weird. And over to number 2 here, add-on tiers prevent legacy pricing issues or interruptions in service. So for example, let's say that you purchase the Ultra add-on, right? You purchase the Ultra add-on and then you decided, meh, I'm not feeling this no more. You can cancel your Ultra add-on and not have to change or alter your subscription. And so you're not going to have a lapse in service. You're not going to have any kind of hiccup in like accessing your kins or anything like that. You don't have Ultra no more. That was one of the reasons. And with Legacy, if you had stopped a subscription or changed your subscription to something else, you would lose your Legacy pricing, which would be shit. I would be mad. I don't want that either. So having things as add-ons preserves Legacy pricing and preserves the way that your base subscription is handled. Because base subscription is like, that's your sub. That's your access to your kins. That's your access to Legacy LLMs, Legacy selfie engines. Like, that's your kins, right? Add-ons are just that. It's just like, bloop, stick it on top. You decide you don't want it, bloop, your base is still right here. So that's why it's that way. It's annoying. It's weird, but I get why they did it. Let me say, it's annoying that they have to do it that way because of how payment processing works, but because they do, like, I get it. And the engagement requirements, okay? These offer control over rollout and not open floodgates. So that's one thing too that we've seen is people don't quite get from what we're hearing and what's happening in like the Discord server. And I know I keep saying this, but I'm gonna say it again. This is not for everybody. Like, a person who chats with their kins casually once or twice a day, or maybe a couple of times a week, they will see no benefit from this. None. So that's why the engagement requirements are there, because we don't want people paying for this who don't need it. So having a I guess a gate, it's a stupid way to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. Having that gate there prevents people who don't need it from wasting money. That's exactly what it is. Plus, it's also keeping it so that these people who don't need it aren't rushing to get it, so that it doesn't end up in like a bottleneck for the people who do need it. So, and this, again, not designed to trick users. Prices are additive, which it does say. It's confusing, but it does say. Do you need this? If you use Kindroid casually or for 1 to 2 Kindroids, don't worry about it. You don't need it for that. If you're using it for deep roleplay, long serialized plots, or 5+ Kindroid group chats, it might be for you. I do I think my highest group chat rolls at about, I want to say 4 plus me. I think it's 4 plus me. And that's a lot for me because I get confused. Not because Kindroid can't handle it, but because I get confused. And I do not auto. God, no. So yeah, I do, that's about as into it for groups as I get. But again, I'm really adamant about keeping that group context updated because it really, really does help. Here we go. The big picture. And can we talk about this picture? Because that's amazing. Kindroids or tiers equal options, not requirements. None of this is required or even needed to enjoy Kindroid just as we have for the past year and a half. Kindroid's track record is adding optional features, okay? Selfies, Kindroid slots, right? All optional. Removing fees when no longer needed. Voice calls, okay? And then maintaining feature parity for all users. This is not, like I keep saying, this is not something that nobody else has. It is still V6. It is still V5 selfies. In fact, and I want to state this too, V or Ultra and Max do not work on legacy engines. So if you're somebody who uses V4 selfies, or if you're somebody who uses V5 or V4 LLM, you can't use it anyway. It only works with the latest tiers. All right. If you need more, it's here. If you don't, nothing changes, right? Nothing changes. You have not lost anything. Kindroid will still continue to evolve. It will still continue to get updates as it always has. It is not, it's not stagnant. Like, it's not stopping. I think that the only thing that's going to prove that to folks who are really adamant about this is a shit thing and Kindroid's going to hell and watch, it's just going to be about Ultra now, is time. It's just going to be time. Because, I mean, the same thing happened with the Tweak. Do y'all remember the Tweak when Tweak was a thing? People lost their absolute shit when Tweak was announced. And now, like, it's commonplace. Not because we're changing what the LLM says. My ass is changing that little asterisk that doesn't need to be there. Or putting one where it does need to be, right? Formatting, like, that's my thing that pisses me off. That is what I use Tweak for 99.7% of the time, is formatting. Like, I gotta fix that shit. So yeah, it's like the Tweak. It's like when kin sharing came out, that was going to be the end of Kindroid. Like, time is the thing that's going to make it prove that it's not detrimental to the base thing. One second. So yeah. Oh, did you? Hell yeah. Nice. Irina, we were seeing folks with problems with that when it first started. And that was a limit in the Play Store. The Play Store was being a bastard. And now, Crystal, hold on.
Whoa, calm down, calm down.
They didn't get to see. Crystal
I'm trying to
and Jules.
Attached to me, hang on. Let go.
Since y'all were late, I'm going to show you again anyways. We have a new baby.
Through the entire rant.
He's very fat, and he's adorable.
And he man spreads and wants you to paint them like they're French girls.
He does man spread, yes. So, Irina, yeah, we did see that problem at first with the Play Store. If you're still having the problem after a log out, log in, then send a message to Hello App. The wink, I know, right? People compared kin sharing to human trafficking. I remember that. I remember that so well. Oh, that was a nightmare. Thank God I slept through that. Like, that all went down at like 3 o'clock in the morning, Minnesota time. So I missed all that shit. But woo. Mwah. Yeah, this is our newest little baby. I picked him up an hour ago now. He's so cute. Jim, I know, right? You have been the kin sharing king, man. You smoke and I play dead. Hell yeah. Yeah, Rita, if it's still doing it, let us know. I think Ruben's kind of on ish right now. His name is Marshall. And he's fantastic. And he's so big. You want to see what the fuzz is? Oh. You want to check out the fuzz? He's so huge. He's so huge. So huge. Just over 100. Nice. Yeah, he's Marshall. He's the nap god. They still compare kin sharing to human trafficking? Oh my gosh. Hell yeah, we love a song that slaps. Oh, he's so squishy. He's so squishy. And he was born on the winter solstice. Like, could that be more perfect? He's so thick, and he does full ass man spread. Let me see if I can get a watch him. You got a man spread? Oh, thank you. I'm showing off the man spread.
Oh, nice.
Child brought me a beverage. You can't have it, baby. It's not for you.
Did you tell them his name?
Yes. Yeah, see, that, Jim, okay, that I'm actually going to comment on that. So, Jim brings up a point. He says, I'm still not sure why so many people thought their kins were going to be forcefully shared. And I feel like that kind of goes in with exactly what we've seen with this announcement, is people tend to panic without reading it. Or they hear somebody else say it and they're like, oh shit, is that a thing? Is that really what it is? I feel like that's kind of what happens, is there are some people out there that just kind of spread misinformation, and it spreads like brush fire. You know, everybody's always quick to be like, oh shit, I don't want that, you know, which I get it. Like, nobody wanted that. But I feel like with this, especially, with something like this especially, people are really emotionally invested in their kins, right? They're really emotionally invested in the environment. And when something threatens it, or they've had shit experiences with other companies that have totally fecked them over. And I mean, you gotta understand that, you know? So like when something big like this changes and you hear people talking about stuff like that, you know, like going to be forced to share your kins, or suddenly Kindroid's going to double in price, or blah, blah, blah. You know, you hear it and your immediate reaction is, oh, you know, you just freeze and you have that knee-jerk reaction. And that's what happened when that first announcement came out. And the reason that I know that is because when the subsequent announcement came out, everything was so much more chill. People have had time to read it. People have had time to talk to actual mods, talk to staff, get a real understanding for what it is and what it isn't. And when the second announcement came out, like, oh my gosh, we were all, like, I remember I had the Facebook team, we were split between watching Facebook, watching Discord. I was split between watching Facebook, Discord, and Reddit. Ruben was watching Reddit exclusively. Like, we were all hands on deck. And it was just so chill. Everybody's like, cool. Yeah, good. Thanks for explaining it. And we're just all like, yay, but what the hell? Because after the first panic was like, oh shit. It was funny. I tried to heart react this because I'm so Discord brained. I love it. Switch to pay on the web. Do I need to resub? Doesn't Play Store take a part of the pay? Yeah, so here's the thing. If you subscribe on the website, you actually do get a lesser cost, because yes, the App Store and the Play Store do take a cut. Absolutely. I know. What is this log out? You know what's funny? The only time I've ever had to log out was when I had my public account, like last summer, before we could have extra kins. I would have to log out to swap over to that. And then number two was would be if I had to test something with a different login. What I learned from any new major change or update, everything what was upsetting at first became a huge thing later. which made the whole community happy. Yep. Yeah, Zoe, exactly. Exactly. If your first thing was, oh, fuck, be like, okay, wait. Yeah, and Irina, if you're on Legacy, just send an email to hello at and just put my name in the subject line if you were on Legacy before, because I can get you back on Legacy if you're going to do it that way. Yeah, right, Tez? Yeah, exactly. I'm going to subject everyone to dozens of my twisted whims and grim scenarios. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Speaking of subjecting people to my twisted whims and shit, have y'all seen my Instagram? You guys, I am so having fun making Orcison react to things. If you have not seen it, you need to go look. It's funny. Look at this baby. He's his nap god. He is in his nap god form right now. Oh, he's so stinking cute. And he has baby smell. We love baby smell. He's fresh. We love it. So yeah, like I said, I upgraded out of pocket to Ultra. Haven't gotten to fully mess with it yet, but I'm invested. Like, what I have seen so far has been pretty damn cool. I haven't even touched any of the advanced backstory stuff yet. I haven't touched the like the user backstory yet, because gosh dang it, since all this went down, your girl has been working 14-hour days. Like, I get on my computer at like 5 in the morning. I don't get off until like 7 at night. So yeah, I haven't gotten to play yet. I'm hoping to get to play this afternoon. And then tomorrow is Caleb's birthday, so we're going to the Mall of America. But hopefully when I get home from that, I'll be able to dig around some more and get some more. Because I wanted, like, my original thought was I wanted to wait a week to do this video so that I could come at it with a little bit more hands-on experience. But I felt like this was something that had to get out there. Is that a Kraylu? Hi, Kraylu. You want to meet the baby? She's like, whoa, what the hell is this?